Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA off-season video. In this video, we're going to talk about the 2026 WNBA draft that's coming up on Monday. We're going to talk about my favorite prospects, who I think are the best prospects. We're going to hit some early picks in the first round, some late picks, some mid picks. So if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. I also have a full playlist talking about a majority of these players. I'll put a card in the top right corner. You can click it. It will take you right to the playlist. It's a 6-video playlist. If you've already listened to it, this is the final one. And if you are just interested in my brief overview of all of these prospects, or some of these prospects, welcome to this video. So yeah, I just want to talk about my favorite prospects, not necessarily talk about the draft in particular and like where they could go. It's all up to debate. It's been beaten to death. I want to give you guys my my who I think the best prospects are in this draft, and regardless of fit, who I think is the best. And we're gonna go in order. Um, People on screen they're sort of in order, but the first player I want to talk about is Lauren Betts here out of UCLA, national champion, 6'7", 22 years old. Came off an amazing national championship run. Congratulations to UCLA. And she's been on my radar for a little bit now. She's been on my radar this whole year, but dating back to last year, I really liked her. And there was some concerns about her. There was some concerns about her matching up against other bigs. There was some concern about her playing a certain kind of defense at UCLA, and if that will translate to the WNBA level. She played a lot of drop this year. She still played in a lot of drop, even in this national championship run. But her shot blocking's elite. I love her size. I love her attitude, just like on and off the court. I've used this term a lot recently, but a model citizen, just like nothing to worry about, no like outside stuff. Um, great, great woman. I mean, I guess I'd call her a girl because I'm older than her. Um, but just an amazing athlete, and I think a true modern WNBA player. I'm looking at some of her advanced stats here on this new website, draftballer.com. They use this metric called RAPM, and it's a metric, or I guess I don't know how you call it, but it's regularized adjusted plus minus. Um, is a advanced sports statistic metric primarily used in basketball and hockey that measures the player impact on their team's scoring differential while they are on the court or on the ice, independent of their teammates and the competition they're playing. Um, it improves upon the standard APM used by using rigid regression to stabilize the results, reducing the noise from smaller sample sizes. So I'm using this new website. It's a bunch of advanced metrics. A lot of it I don't understand, but they do have it conveniently made like a video game where I can see the numbers, and that makes my brain go buzz, and it looks nice, and it's easy to understand. But let's talk about some of these numbers. I want to talk about the defensive numbers for her, especially. Um, Her opponent field goal percentage, 95%. So that's her deterring people from coming to the rim. Um, Her offensive rebounding, denying offensive rebounding is an 88 by this website's metric, and her rim deterrent um, is 74. Her mid range deterrent is only a 10, which isn't great. But again, she was playing in a lot of drops. So when you play in a drop coverage, for those who don't know, when you're getting it when you're the big defending the other big, and the big goes up to screen their teammate, you're caught there. You do not jump out to try to stop the 3-pointer or stop the mid range. You drop back to try to stop the opponent guard from driving to the basket, or the big rolling to the basket. So you're always in good positioning to stop some paint penetration, or rim attacking there. Her 3-point deterrent is really good though, at 65. Her rim protection's in 95. Her opponent 2 point percentage is a 95, so she's really good at when she does stop the mid range shot. It's really good, and her opponent three is very good um, as well, deterring teams from taking a three. Um, I just really like her overall. Her impact is her impact is interesting because she's been anywhere from like the fourth pick to the first pick, um, depending on the team she goes to. I have one in mind that's been really rumored recently that I thought about months ago, and I was like, this isn't gonna happen. They're not gonna do this. And as things have come more into focus since the beginning of this national tournament, um, since the end of it, since the WNBA stuff has come out, the news and stuff of injuries and players are not going to play start the year because they're injured or whatever the case may be. Um, Lauren Betts' stock has I won't say skyrocketed, but gone back up to that first round for like first second pick buzz, where I don't necessarily see her in Dallas, but I think her in Minnesota would be kind of cool. And I don't want to talk about the draft too much again. This is just me talking about who I think the best prospects are. And the best prospect to me is Lauren Betts. She's been the best prospect all year. I mean, she's ready. We'll use the term she's ready now. She's 22 years old. She's not too old. She's not too young. Um, and she just came off a national championship, and I think she could be a really great starting big just as a baseline for her. I know as like a top pick you should just be starting regardless, but like if that's just her career where she's just a steady starting big, a couple all-star appearances, um, maybe a couple defensive player of the years, I don't think that's a terrible career. And we've talked about the defensive side a lot. Let's talk about the offensive side a lot. Um, Her rim frequency, getting to the basket, is a 91. Her mid-range frequency is an 85. I particularly wouldn't like to see her take a lot of mid ranges in the WNBA to start. I think being just a running defensive, cut to the basket big would be really great for her early on in her career, and then obviously you work your way out from the mid range to the 3 point, and so on and so forth. But um, her rim shot making percentage is a 99. Her 2 point percentage um, is a 99. This is just shot making in general. Her 3 point is an 85, and her assists are a 99. Again, I just want to let you guys know this metric that they're using on this website takes the sample size that they have and I'll say inflates it just a little bit. So I'm not trying to make her out to be like this crazy prospect. I'm reading just the numbers in front of me, and I just want you guys to know that if you go look at her like 3 point percentage, her regular 3 point percentage or 2 point percentage, it might not rate as high or look as good as it does on this website. So I just want to make that clear. And then the only other thing that I think she suffers from, but I think it's just an NCAA thing playing women's college basketball, is that she doesn't draw a lot of free throws, a lot of fouls. I think at the next level she probably could. I don't know if her first year they'll probably give her that rookie treatment where they don't call fouls and she just gets like smacked in the face, and there's gonna be one play where she just like looks like so confused because she got smacked in the face, but that's just what they do. Um, but eventually I think she could draw fouls pretty well. She has great touch around the basket, great pursuit of the basketball, and just a big. I'm more of a guard person in general, but especially in the WNBA, bigs are just so fascinating because they can either be really good or just kind of and sometimes they go on these weird career journeys where it's like an up and down career, and then finally they get to the point where they're really good on whatever team they're on, their second or third team, and you're like, this player was always kind of nice. I think Lauren is gonna skip all of that, and just be a steady big throughout her career. And yeah, if we look at some of these other numbers here, um, her usage was a 27%. That was ranked 95th amongst this class of draft picks. Her true shooting is a 60, um, and her free throw rate is a 24. So yeah, and her overall RAPM is a plus 17.7. That ranks 98th in this draft class. So yeah, do you have any other thoughts about Lauren Betts? Just a great player. people were so I made a video on here talking about it. I've talked about Lauren Betts a lot on this channel when we talked about the WNBA draft and stuff. People were just they were so critical of her during the season. Like they were just like this she they said all these things and like I stuck with her. I saw the vision and I think come draft night on Monday, I'm not sure if it's gonna be the number one pick, but she's definitely. I mean, you look at word. I think there's a world in which she's either two or four, and that's it. She's not gonna be one. She's not gonna be three. Not gonna be five. Um, so it's two or four for her, I think, and both places I believe are really great places for her to end up at the end of the day. So yeah, let's move on to my next favorite player, the next top prospect in this um, draft class, and that's Awa Pham, top right of your screen. Now, Awa does not have a lot of available stats on this website, so I'm just going to tell you what I think about her. She's very raw, and I watched her a lot in the qualifying, the FIBA qualifying tournament, playing for her senior basketball club in Spain, and there's a lot of rawness to her game, and a lot of people on multiple like websites and forums and stuff and social medias have like questioned like why is she the number one pick? It's the potential, guys. It's the potential of her being really good, and I think from everything I've seen, at least to my knowledge, wants to come over immediately. She seems very invested in coming over to the WNBA immediately, unlike some prospects who probably take a year, year and a half to finish out their overseas contract and then come over. I think she's going to come over right away. And for her to come over right away and start her process of maturing her game and stuff like that, I mean, she's only 19 years old. She's gonna be 20 actually, but maybe by the time she comes over and the season starts, even she's gonna be 20 probably or turn 20 right at the beginning of the season. She's 6'4", 6'8" wingspan. I really liked what I saw from her. She was very intentional with all her movements. She was very engaged. I liked her fearlessness, and these are all intangibles, and these are all things that like should they make you the number one pick? Mm, Probably not. But like, if we're thinking, let's say 4 years from now, right? Or wait, 19, 20, 20, 4 years from now, yeah. When she's Lauren Betts' age, when Awa Pham is 22, is she going to be just as good as Lauren Betts is now? Or is she going to be even better? Because Lauren Betts is a finished prospect, not a finished product, but a finished prospect. Like this is as far as her development can go at that level, and she's moving to the next level. IWFM has been playing at the professional level for a long time, and people will look at you and they will say, well, she has a lot of 0 point games. She's not even the best player on her team. Like this and that. Like it's about the the thought of her in 4 years, and if you're willing to wait those 4 years, I think she can be something special. I don't think she's just another one of these like overseas prospect that gets overhyped. I think she's genuinely could be really good because she has all these intangibles and she has things you can't teach. You know, I can't teach you a lot of things, but I can teach you some things, and the things I can't teach you are like the intentional nature in which she moves with, the intensity that she plays with, and all that stuff. And I'm rambling just about intangibles, but you get the idea. Like I believe in her, and even though I even though I think that like Lauren Betts should be the number one pick, I think the Wings who do have the number one pick see the potential that Awa Pham has, and they might just take her and say, "Hey, we're just gonna build you up, and we can wait. We can wait these 4 years for you to be at least really good. Maybe not all star in 4 years, but which one of these players is gonna be an all star in the first 4 years of their career? Like realistically, like okay, maybe AZ Fudd because whatever the politics of it all, but like I don't think any of these prospects are gonna be an all star in their first 4 years. I think maybe by the third year, maybe definitely by the fourth year, obviously, like I'm saying, but none of these players are gonna be like all stars immediately. I think it's gonna be very rare to see that in this draft class. Um, Yeah, my second best prospect in my mind, Awa fam. Now moving on to my third one, one that I think is has been a lot of contention recently around her. AZ Fudd, 23 years old, 5'11 guard out of UConn. Um, where do we start? Where do we start? I just want to say, guys, I told you so. I told you so. I told you guys, this girl, no disrespect, is not it. She's not number one pick worthy. I was on the train super early. People in those comments of that video said stuff, and I didn't disagree with them. I value your guys' opinion. I appreciate your guys' comments, but I was right. Like, I'll say this. I said it in the video too. I would not draft Clay Thompson with the number one pick as an NBA comparison. That's what all the AZ fun is Clay Thompson. And not even with the defense. And I think her defense is overrated. Now that I've seen her, like I've watched her these past, was it 4 or 5 years at UConn. This is the first time where she was one of the players on the team. Like she was one of the marquee players. Like she was the first or second option. And man, she could she had some okay defensive moments, but like I'm sitting here thinking like, how is she gonna guard like Kelsey Plum? How is she gonna guard like Sabrina? Like how is she gonna guard some of these players? I'm thinking to myself like, what? How is she gonna guard Chelsea Gray? And I'm thinking to myself like, she's gonna get eaten up. And then I also thought to myself as watching some of these college games, I was like, how the hell is she gonna get her shot off when it's like Kalia Copper closing out on her? How the hell is she like? I'm in my mind. I'm thinking all these things. I'm like, not to be disrespectful, but like, if she could get another year of college experience, I'd give it to her because man, she does not. She didn't look ready. She didn't look ready for the moment, and the lights were too bright. And I've tried not to like, and I will further in this video try not to disparage these players because they had a bad national tournament run. There can only be one winner. There can only be one team that's really good. Sometimes it's a bad night of basketball that you lose your whole season because of, like, I can't judge you too hard in the national tournament, but I can judge you on the things I saw in those tournaments. And the things I saw, they weren't great for AZ Fudd. Now, onto the positive stuff. Um, her true shooting's a 60, a 60%. Her effective field goals a 59, not great. And the other thing I saw that was really funny that I didn't even notice because I wasn't really paying attention to it. She doesn't have a left hand. She can't go left. You got to work on that. Her 3 point percentage, um, 49.1, ranks 71st in this draft class. Um, her 3 point per rate, pardon me, 49. And then her 3 point percentage is a 44, 49th in this class. And her free throw rate is a 8.2, 50th in this draft class. Moving on to some other stuff. You look at her shooting stuff, um, it's really good. It's really good, especially like it's on this website. It's all blue. It looks all good. 99, 100, 93. Um, her draw foul rate isn't great either. But her 3 pointer is something to be looked at, and then her mid range has it comes and goes. And I think the team that drafts her is gonna have to tell her, hey, you just gotta sit in the corner, and we gotta work on all this other stuff this whole first year of your rookie year, because like it's just not doing it right now. It's just not doing it, and I have a lot of faith that in her career at some point possibly she could just be a knockdown shooter, and that's what every team needs in this modern era. And she could have a long career just being a knockdown shooter, and that's why she's my third best prospect in this draft. But like uh, to be like a top two pick to me, like you either need to have the potential to get better immediately, which I don't. I think AZ is more than finished at this point. She's not really getting better at anything. I mean, she has to get a left. She has to get a left hand. She has to learn to dribble more. She has to learn to do all these other things. But like those are little things that like she's not going to be asked to do. If a team drafts her to be the star player on a team, I regret to inform you that's not going to happen. But if she's like a number two or number three on a really good team, then that can happen. Yeah, every player has their limits. For crying out loud, the MVP of this league, the WNBA, Asia Wilson, my favorite player, doesn't shoot threes that often, but she's like the best player in the league. So it's like every player has their deficiencies, and I'm not trying to take too much away from AZ, but like she's more of a role player to me, and I would not use the first two picks on her. I would personally have her at three. and that would put her in Seattle, which is not a bad place to be right now. Yeah, AZ Fudd. Any other thoughts I have? I think what was the draft comparison I saw? Allie Quigley. Yeah, Allie Quigley. Allie Quigley's not bad. If you're getting Allie Quigley at a three or four or fifth pick, I think that's really good. I think that's sensational. I really do. Let's move on here. Let's move on to the next player that I have here, Olivia Miles, another player that and there's gonna you're gonna start seeing a theme here with some of these players, but Olivia Miles. Actually, let me pull up her thing real quick. Where'd it go? Olivia Miles, Miles. There she is. Um, 23 years old, 5'10", guard, out of TCU. Man, do I have thoughts? I think she's a really good passer, and I think she has some really good potential as a floor general, as an organizer on on a WNBA team. The size concerns me a little bit. Whenever you dip near like 5'11", 5'10", 5'9" in WNBA, I really worry about your defense, and I really worry about you being a competent, late game defender. I don't care if you average like 2 steals a game for your whole career. If you can't play in late game situations because you get they're asking to get the switch on you, um, I grow very concerned that you're a championship player. Now, I meant to say this about Lauren Betts too, about her defense because she plays in a drop, like I said. The NBA and the WNBA has moved towards backwards a little bit towards really being creative with hiding bad defenders. They run a lot of zone. They run a lot of 2-3, 3-3. And you have one bad defender and you can hide them. You have two bad defenders, it becomes increasingly difficult. You have three bad defenders, it's near impossible. So it's very important to see where Olivia Miles goes. Do I think she's gonna start on any of these teams? Um, I guess after number one. I mean, the ESPN had a mock draft where Olivia Miles went one. I don't know what they were on. That was probably just clickbait, but we'll go after two. Would she start on the Minnesota Lynx? Uh, n- no. Mm, no. Um, in Seattle, yes, I think she would start in Seattle. In Washington, no. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. And then Chicago, who just apparently is working on a trade to get Rakia Jackson. Um, yeah, she would start. She would start. Yeah, so 3 out of 3 times she would start. Um, yeah, 3 out of 3 times she would start. You get down here, and then of course she would start. I mean, the tempo, fire, maybe not Golden State, but yeah. Um, I do have some concerns about her. I want to use this word gently. Attitude. Like she strikes me as one of these players. And one of my favorite players is one of these as well. As a complainer, she complains a lot, and I hate that because it's like, why are you complaining to the ref? Get back on defense. My favorite player, my second favorite player, Luka Doncic, complains all the time, and I've watched it for however many years he's been in the NBA. I'm like, stop it, dude. Just stop. Just get back on defense, please. I hate complainers. Olivia Miles strikes me as a little bit of a complainer, but maybe she can reel it in at the next level. Depending on the coach that she has, the coach can complain all they want, and Olivia can focus on the basketball stuff. Um, that's the only other concern I have. That's not, it gets like on the court, but sort of off the court, sort of thing. Like she's just a complainer. Um, just stop complaining. It's basketball. I just don't care. I don't care. Stop complaining. Now, this is where we get into some interesting stuff defensively. I'm looking at these advanced numbers right here. Um, for her size, she's a pretty good rim deterrent. Her mid range, she gets kind of cooked on the mid range because of her size, and obviously people turn like doing fadeaways, falling left, falling right. She's halfway decent on the perimeter. I feel like she moves her feet very well. She does get herself in a little bit of foul trouble with those hands. She tries to go for steals, and it's like that wasn't really a great chance to do that. But otherwise, if she can just keep her hands like in front of her and not like dipping into the other person's like pocket too much, and she can move her feet at the next level, I'm not too concerned. I'm just concerned about the defensive scheme that maybe she's gonna have to play at the next level, and maybe she's not completely ready for that, and maybe it will take a little bit of an adjustment period. I think her offense is gonna be almost her offensive like generation is gonna be almost immediate. It's gonna be her defense that needs to catch up, um, depending on if she starts or is on the bench, whatever the case may be. I think that's where that's going to be the inverse for her. Where I think some of these players are really Lauren Betts is going to be really good defensively first, and then offensively is going to have to come along. It's the complete opposite for Olivia Miles, in my opinion. Um, but her shot defense in general, her rim protection is halfway decent. I think that's a subject of her being at the college level and maybe playing against players that are equal size. You have some really tall guards in the WNBA, so I'm not sure her rim protection is going to translate, but um, um, her shot defense on 3 pointers is decent, and again, her 2 pointers is really good. Um, but man, let me tell you about her offense a little bit here, because her getting to the rim is like, I'll say this, annoyingly good. Like I won't say I was rooting against her. I was just rooting for a good game. But like whenever like she'd like get like a 1-2 step on somebody, like just coming down the lane, in transition, just one handed, just extending all the way to the basket and just laying it up to the cup. Really good. It was like annoyingly good. It was like I hope somebody came up and just swatted that stuff, but it always went in. Her 2 point percentage is really good. Um, therein it lies that her player comp is like Chelsea Gray. I'm a fan of Chelsea Gray. She's no Chelsea Gray, but her 2 pointer, very Chelsea Gray esque. I'll give her that. I'll give her the one star for. I'll give her a star for that. To be like her 2 point shot, very Chelsea Gray esque. Her assists percentage is really good, 99. Um, and yeah, any other things here? Her usage is 30. Is that the high? That might be the high. Well, she's the first real point guard here, so yeah, her usage is up. Um, her true shooting's a 59, um, and her free throw rate is a 28%. Well, these players draw a lot of free throws. That's a next level thing. That's a next level like learning curve thing to draw free throws and stuff. Um, Next player I want to talk about here, and then we'll start moving through these a bit faster here, because then we'll be at a one, two, three, four. Then we'll be at the top five, yeah. Um, Flage Johnson, Flage. Um, where is she? Where'd she go? Oh, there she is. Out of LSU, 22 years old, 5'11", wingish guard. Yeah, wing. They have it listed as wing here too. Wingish guard. I have many thoughts about Flage. I said it in my video when I talked about her individually. One of I think she's the most athletic player in this draft, and I think she's very versatile on the defensive end. Just because again of like I said with Awafam of her like instincts and her intentionality with her movement. She does get herself in trouble with her hands a little bit. Um, I think it's get. I think this next level is gonna be a real. This first year is gonna be a real struggle for her, both offensively and defensively. But if you're willing to wait on a really athletic player, I think she can be really good. I really do see like a Kalia Copper in her. I see like that like just dog. And that's not a real draft like word I should use when talking about something. But I see somebody who's a competitor, and you know, I think I said this in a video as well, where I was like, you have a lot of people just play basketball because they're good at it. I think Flashy plays basketball because she really loves the game and she really takes it seriously. And there's some off the court stuff with like her family and like that like her family's always yapping, and like if I'm a GM, I gotta tell Flage straight up like if we're gonna draft you, we cannot have that as a distraction. They can be at games, they can do whatever. Tell them to stay off social media. We don't need that. You're a professional now. You need to handle it as a professional. And yeah, I, I think the off the court stuff worries me a bit more than the on the court stuff because on the court she's sensational. I mean, some of these numbers aren't gonna look great. Yeah, her 3 point frequency sucks. Her 3 point deterrent sucks. So like once you get around the perimeter, offensively and defensively, it becomes a bit worrisome. But like inside and like in the mid range, it's pretty good. You're not gonna ask her to play make that often. I mean, she can play make out of like weird situations, like off an offensive rebound, maybe getting a rebound and running the floor and just shooting it down the floor. Um, but you're not asking her to be a playmaker. She's really strictly like a wing, like a defensive mid range ish wing, and that kind of knocks her down because she can't hit a three. If she was a three and D wing, like legit, I think her draft uh, stock would be a lot higher. But she's like a mid range and D wing, which granted works in the WNBA, but like I'm I have to like really she has to I pray I really actually hope she ends up in like Toronto or Portland, the two expansion teams, because she'll have nothing but time to really improve her game. But looking at true shooting and effective field goal percentage, they're both in the 50s, 50%. Her free throw rate is a 24%, which is okay, I guess. And yeah, I really like her because of her athleticism. I like I in the WNBA, an athletic player will win you games, will win you playoff games. I think it's supremely important that she has as much time to develop as she can. And that's really interesting to say about like a top five pick, but like given the right circumstances and given the right nurturing, give her 2 years, she could be really good. She could be a real 3 and D wing, I think, and really be something. Um, moving on here, I guess we'll call this the lightning round. Talking about these next couple players here outside of the top five, but I still want to shout them out. Next up, another national champion, Kiki Rice. Man, oh man, what a run she was on. I have my same concerns. Again, she's 5'11. I mean, like 22 years old. I don't have to reiterate the same things I do about every guard, the concerns I have on defense. Um, I really like what she was able to do at UCLA. Um, Never really pushed the envelope too much. She got everybody involved. She let Lauren do her thing. She let Gabrielle Jaquez do her thing. She let Gina Canibers do her thing. She was really a team player this whole year for UCLA, and I'm looking at all the stuff, the offensive, the defensive stuff, and it's all over the place. Um, I think you're getting a really good offensive player if you draft her. Very unique offensively as well. Was like she does a little bit of everything. Her defense, it's even worse than. I won't say it's even worse. It's she's an inch taller, so it kind of makes up for it. But even worse than than Olivia Miles. So do with that information what you will. But optically, it doesn't look as bad as Olivia Miles at times. I'd say they're like on par. Maybe like in a vacuum, they're probably on par with each other. Um, but I really liked everything she was willing to do at UCLA. She didn't make it about herself. She let everybody do their thing, and when I mean I think she lacked a little bit in the stepping up factor of like when it really mattered. She kind of went cold a little bit. At least to my memory, that might be off base, but to my memory, she was a little cold at times. But you're not drafting her to be a number one. I mean, she might end up in Chicago, so like she might have to be. But I genuinely think you get a nice guard. Um, Looking at it right here, yeah, as it's in front of me, I mean, Az, Miles, Rice. I think that's the right order. Yeah, guards wise, and I mean, she's the first combo guard on this list, because Az is a two, Miles is a one, and yeah, and yeah, she's the first combo guard. So if you're looking for a combo guard, Kiki Rice is your girl. At a UCLA national champion. Um, Moving on here to the next player, as I try to get through these a little quicker for you guys. Tania Latson. Man, oh man. uh, 5'8", 5'10" wingspan. Um, I don't know where she fits in at the next level. And there's going to be another play that comes up here that I'm not sure is going to fit in at the next level. But I could be completely wrong. I've been wrong before. But she's number what number is she on my list? It's 2, 4, 6, one, two, two. She's number 7 on my list. 22 years old. Um, she's a bit of a project. I think she's really a bench player to start her career. If she goes to a good environment, she can learn from another guard who can really help her. Offensively, there's nothing to learn. It's just the adjustment of going to the next level. Um, her rim getting to the rim is really good. Her 2 point percentage is really good. Her three, it was good during, I guess, the regular college season. In the playoffs, it really was in the the college like national tournament run. Um, it wasn't the greatest. There were times where I was watching that whole South Carolina team and I was like, they cannot make a three. And it was all defense. It was all for the team, I mean. It was all defense. It was all like just getting downhill, just trying to really just beat them at the basket. And that's why they lost. That's why they're not the national champions. But that's not all because of Tanaya Latson. Um, I think she has a lot to not to learn, but just to adjust to, and she'll be able to not have that pressure on her so much. I mean, if you look at where she could end up in Portland or Toronto. So again, same thing with Flage. Um, just a good place for her to develop and have all the time in the world, no pressure, no expectation. It's really good for these kind of players. And I'm really hopeful that she turns out really good because she was very entertaining to watch at times. I mean, I was frustrated with that South Carolina team because I'm a guy who sort of likes more movement, more 3 point shooting, more like move the ball around, and less like everybody standing around and just waiting. But that's a subject of the college basketball and Coach John Staley. So, um, yeah, Tanaya Latson. The next player is somebody I think is a literally might be the most WNBA ready and set up to have a long career. And I said this. I want to make this big. I said this before the national championship run, so I was on this early. And that's Gabrielle Jaquez, middle bottom of your screen, number 11. Gabrielle, man, oh man, Gabrielle. We'll say Jaquez. Yeah, Jaquez. Um, where is she? There she is. Um, now we're going. Are we going out of order? Yeah, I'd say that's my top 6 because there are players that are better, or this list has just been that subject to my opinion. So you know what? Yeah, she is the she is the eighth best player in this draft. At least in my mind, she's the player that I would want on my team. All these players I would want on my team for the record, for different reasons. But Gabriella, 6 foot, flat, really good size, um, visually as well. Like she's not like a small 6 foot. She's like a tall and long 6 foot. Um, 22 years old, a wing player, um, just just an energizer and really engaged in every like literally every possession. And she reminds me a lot of, especially on the rebounding side, of a Jackie Young, where like you're watching the rebound and watching the basketball, obviously like most people do. And it's bouncing around, and then you just see this player just run in and grab the rebound from like 3 other players that were just standing waiting for it. That's what she reminded me of a lot, and that stuff wins you championships. That stuff wins you playoff games, and I think her going to a really good like situation that's already set up is key for her to really shine. If she goes to a team where she has to like just be one of the players, like asked to do too much, she's not gonna look good. She has to have other players around her to look good. And looking at her draft stuff right here, right now, they have her at Indiana, which would be great. I'd love her in Indiana. That'd be so fire. Um, in looking upwards towards the draft, like the top, tippity top, topish. I'm running over my words now. I'm so sorry. Um, you have 8 Golden State. You have 9 Washington. You have 11 Washington. And you have 12 Connecticut. If she can end up in Washington or Golden State or Indiana, that would be amazing. I think that would be awesome. That would be great. Um, she's been WNBA ready. I said it early in the year. I just like everything about her. Her offensive stuff looks really good here. 98, 99, 88, 90, 89. Um, she doesn't allow a lot of threes or twos from the opponent that she's guarding. She's a pretty standard rim deterrent for her size. She's a really good 3 point deterrent, um, which is really good. And her foul, what is this? She doesn't foul a lot. Um, yeah, and I'm looking at the rebounding here. The offensive rebound is a that's right. That's an off. Yeah, that's offensive rebounding is a 98 for a guard. That's insane. That's actually crazy. But yeah, just a WNBA ready player, and I'm gonna be really interested to see where she goes, and if this national championship run has moved her up some draft boards or stayed right around where she is, or is somebody gonna reach for her. And moving on to the next player, the last player, not necessarily the best player in this class, one of the best players in this class, but I was looking through this draft board and some other draft boards, and I was looking, man, I gotta look at my aces, right? My Las Vegas Aces, and we just signed Jackie Young to a the first $1 million deal in WNBA history, 1 year deal. Um, but I was looking for my aces because we don't have a lot of draft picks in any of these drafts, for different reasons. But and I was looking for players, to put in this video and put in the thumbnail. And there was some buzz that, like, Rory over here, bottom right, didn't get invited to the draft night stuff in New York, um, which is fine. She's maybe like a early second round, late second round pick, and I was thinking about it. And I was like, Rory on the Aces. It's like I kind of like it. Now I'm not completely sold on Rory. I don't even know if she's a WNBA player, especially at her size and like what she does. If I'm looking forward and I'm being very nice to her, maybe a Kelsey Mitchell, maybe. And I'm not the biggest fan of Kelsey Mitchell, but um, maybe a Kelsey Mitchell, maybe something else. But uh, uh, the thought of it just made my brain tingle, and I was like, that'd be kind of fire. I would really like that because Rory seems like a hard worker, a good player. From what I saw, with her and Madison Booker at Texas, and then their little run they had to the national championship, was decent. And I think she's one of these players that she's a late second round, early second round pick. Is not going to start immediately. He's not going to be anywhere near a starter, but um, you put her in a good environment with a good coach. I think she can sustain a career. Will it be successful? That is to be determined. But I just wanted to shout out Rory because she caught my eye previous to the national tournament when I was watching stuff for Madison Booker at Texas. But also I was just like, I really, I really like her energy, and I like the stuff she brings. If we go look at her stuff here, um, her defense is something. She's she's 5'6", so like, you see what I'm talking about? Like 5'6", she might not even. She might be a developmental player for the first year of her career, and might not even play that much. But she's an interesting player that I think might be able to get away with operating an offense and having really good defenders around her. And I'm not saying the Aces have that, but it'd be a fun experiment. But yeah, that's it. That's the video. Just talking about my favorite prospects, who I think the best prospects are in this draft. Um, if I left some players off, I'm sorry. I mean, I can go through right now. I like Angela Julich. Um, Reagan Beers is in this draft. Is she actually like? Is she actually gonna get drafted? Like, I thought she was going back to Oklahoma. I didn't know she was in this draft class. Charlize Ledger Walker is really good. Maggie Dugan's the name I've heard. Um, Raven Johnson's also in this draft class. I didn't mention her. If I missed out on your favorite player, I apologize. This is just my personal list. This is the last video in the road to the 2026 WNBA draft because the WNBA draft is on Monday. So tune in for that. I'll put my reaction to that draft to the draft on Tuesday. It's gonna be a very busy week next week. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Um, on the left side of your screen is a WNBA video. Check that video out. On the right is my women's basketball playlist. If you want to click on that and check out my full women's playlist, basketball playlist. And if you click my icon right in the middle, a little subscribe button will pop up, and you can subscribe and follow along for the WNBA draft and the WNBA season and beyond. Like, comment, subscribe as well, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.